Hey y'all, I was asked to clean this up. Hopefully this idiot will leave me alone where I live. If you want to know who I am, you go back and you'll see veterans being racially profiled up here at the VA center. Because a bunch of anti-abortionists, basically a bunch of nuts out here who like stealing other people's identity, ideas, and everything else that goes with it. So, but still someone asked me to clean this up for you, make it easier. So I'm going to do a reverse. This is basically a little bug out bag, but it's very, very small. It's not very big. So to show you the size of it, different type of ropes you're going to actually carry in this bug out bag. See, but I got an idiot out here who he's determined he's going to beat me up one way or the other. You've got paracord. People do not cut this paracord up to do all that survivalist bullcrap because you're going to need this in order to survive. This is a tension cord that was basically designed for one reason only, to tie down equipment. Some idiot out here is determined to try to make you do a MacGyver. Don't. You're going to need all of this to survive. This rope, it's a little more rope, and you're going to find out why this rope is basically there and how it works and why it works. Or you can keep cutting up your rope to where you've got nothing and you're out there in a survivalist situation. This is cheap equipment. Take your time, piece this go bag to go. Now you've got a saw, locking saw out here. Just simply tied up. Very good. It won't fit inside, but it will hang out. And these are things that you can leave in your car, and it'll last. It'll take the heat, the extreme, everything. Now you got a guy out there that I think is pretty good, and it locks. He's doing a Walmart go bag that supposedly Walmart put one together, and he's got you doing a whole bunch of crazy stuff. So, but you're gonna need all the rope you can get, or you can cut up your paracord and you got nothing left trying to start fires, trying to make snares. When that paracord itself is a snare itself, you'll find out that back in the old days, they used rope. They didn't have steel tension cables. They didn't have any of that stuff. Which I'm gonna show you where all this stuff comes in. Having these different types of rope, this, that, and everything else. It's a polycord reflective rope. Now, I used to be a Boy Scout. This is where all this knowledge comes from. Also a United States Marine. And even still, I had one idiot out there who spoke about having a military, well, I got a military manual. I'm like I said, it works real good with military equipment, don't it? So now you've got an axe. He asked me to clean this up a little bit. Got a good axe. People out there understand something. When you're dealing with this, it's a little difficult to take apart until you actually work this sleeve out a little bit, because it gets snagged. It gets snagged on that, so make sure you pull that back, take it back. It's a real good axe. But the edge is something that you need to worry about. Do not buy whetstones if you do not know how to use a whetstone. Buy you a knife sharpener. The way this edge is made, it's not very long and it will dull real easy. So just buy a knife sharpener. And this is small enough to where it'll sit on the side of your pack. Very, very small. Like I said, this is a very, very over the shoulder bag. It's an over the shoulder bag. Or a quick bug out bag if you get in a survival situation. All this stuff I'm showing you. I'm showing you how all this stuff comes out. Next. Some idiot out there thought he gets smart because he really likes to try to outdo me on everything I do. And he wants me to do everything on Google. Or he wants me to YouTube everything. And I'm telling you, people, don't. Learn this stuff the old school way first. Then go out and buy all this equipment. So you're sitting there talking about cell phones going out, and then you had a recharger. So he uploaded So you see this charger right here. Which is actually 10 watts. That will basically, because he's determined he gonna make me use electronics. He's gonna make me do all this stuff. And I'm like, no, dude. So if your cell phone goes out and you're trying to use the compass on your cell phone, Oh, that I had you plugged up. Oh, excuse me for a second. And you're trying to use the compass on your cell phone, because this is much better. Well, this only works for your cell signal, provided you can get a signal. That's where you get your little GPS coordinates down below. Tells you exactly where you are. So if this thing goes out and you don't have a compass, you're messed up. Power goes out because you're still trying to figure out where you're going, or this, that, and the other. You're trying to figure all this stuff out. All this other crazy stuff. So that's what that charger. So they got these little portable, about the size of your cell phone, that you can use to charge up this cell phone or any other electronic, but it'll take you 10 years in a day to do it. Find you one of these solar chargers out of here. This is 10 watts. This product is 10 watts. So I also have a degree in electronics, also have a degree in programming, and I'm telling you, this equipment out here, see, when they were basically dealing with all this stuff, they were doing all this stuff back in the day. When they were introducing all this stuff to people out here, we got to play with these. These were toys. And most of the stuff out here, they only sold to military people. If you were in the military or military, operator of this, that, and the other. So now this stuff is made for the public, but you still don't quite understand what you're dealing with. All you see is a new toy. This new toy, I'm gonna have fun with it. You got guys out here trying to put 15 minutes of fame on TV, and monkey see, monkey do. You will follow everything they do and say, because all they have to do is make it look glamorous and real, and you will fall for it. Don't. Next. All of this fits in this little bag. So I got a bunch of harassies out here. Like I said, you can look up Pack Leader 4 and you look up racial profiling at the VA center up here, where these same idiots run around here trying to get free map. Whatever I do, this idiot follows. I'm going to do the same thing you do. So he sneaks in, does all this crazy crap. So these go back to when I was a little kid. Itty bitty little kid. I was still in diapers when I was basically coming out of diapers when they came up with these. They were much bigger back in those days. They were about almost 5 inches tall. Invest in having these. You, your family, your friends. And the reason why I say the survival kit, because it has a radiation. When we were going through the threat of nuclear war, camping, and basically that says what the F ever. Ugh. And it comes with a slight little magnifying glass so you can read this later on. Compasses. These are the compasses we had as Boy Scouts. Now you got a guy out here claiming this, that, and the others. Boy Scouts, we used these when we were kids. Every kid received a compass like this when he was going out. They didn't give us those expensive lens-added compasses. But like I said, the reason why this is a very good compass, because for one, it's in inches. So I don't know if you can see that. In inches and in centimeters. If by chance you come across an old map out there, the legend is going to sit there and tell you either inches or meters. Not all maps are in meters. Maybe more modern today. So don't rely on this. Go out, find someone who knows what he's doing, and literally teach you how to use this equipment. Go old school first. Then using this equipment will be that much easier. But when you got a crew of, wannabes running around here. Now I'm not taking all this out again, but let's see what I can do. inside there, hooks, lures, everything except the fishing line. Because the fishing line that came with this, you tried to pack all this in there, it comes separate, and what happens is it'll cut the line. So it's better to just go out and buy fishing line. It's waterproof. It's got an O-ring washer in it. And when we were kids, this was a little plastic bottle. Comes with a piece of flint and a flint striker. So setting little plastic bottles that you can put right around your neck. Maybe about size of a quarter in diameter. About the size of a quarter in diameter. And it held your sinks, your fishing hooks, and your fishing line. And you kept it here. This is last minute ditch survival. They sell these. Pretty good. I did my research before. And all this other crazy stuff. But when you're still dealing with someone that doesn't want to listen, those whistles that could blast through, this is a pretty good one. Now the ones that has it on the end that comes with all this stuff, you bang very loud. Trust me. This is basically what they call Letterman's tool, and it's basically what you keep in your wallet. The thing you realize I show you this is because, for one, this has a sundial, has a sundial on it. It also has protractor on it. And protractors, if you lose your compass, these protractors will save your life. Now, my advice is take your time. Don't go with, you've got one, that these idiots out here that's pissing me off is the reason why I bought all this stuff, and I may not ever use it. Because if I go out there and try to go camping, this idiot that's running around Topeka, Kansas, like I said, pack leader 4, and you'll see racial profiling at the VA. Some idiot running around here with fake credentials who just wants to harass the hell out of me because he wants to beat somebody up. He wants to beat somebody up who's been in the military. He just wants to beat him up. So him and his little retards, excuse the term on that, his little retards can feel something about themselves. I'm going to show you another tool with that. So it also comes with extra flint strikers and everything else. That's flint. So this little piece right here, that you can take and literally and use this and strike against it to make sparks. Now, people out there, I know you're probably asking, why this? This, you can write your memoirs when you're out there thinking you're gonna die and all this other crazy stuff, or you can keep track of which direction you've actually traveled. And also, if necessary, you use to start a fire. I sent this to one. I sent the earlier videos, and they're actually like 2 hours long. And then this is what you're going to keep track. See this right here, basically is 5 inches tall, and it came with a spiral ring like this. So you keep track of the direction you're actually gone, and you're going to find out why I said that in a minute as well. All of this is coming out of this little bag. These are called thermal blankets. Do your research before you start buying these thermal blankets out there, because you can freeze to death. This one has a poly coating on it on the outside, which actually holds more heat. That's reflective. This could save your life. It's a better product, in my opinion. Okay. Now, keep 3 of these. Magnesium will basically is better for starting fires, or you heard me talk about this paracord. you can keep chomping away, chomping away, chomping away, chomping away, chomping away till you got nothing left, and you can't use your survival blanket as a tarp. You can't use this and that because you done used all this up to fish, start fires, make snares, this, that, and everything else. And another thing, people, because you got a guy out there who's basically, guys showing you, they say scrape. When you scrape doing this, when you're doing this, you scrape straight down. You don't scrape back and forth. You don't scrape back and forth. Scrape back and forth. Scrape back and forth. Because then you got magnesium flying everywhere and you're trying to pull it together. There's a guy out there who gives a pretty good demonstration out there, but he's scratching back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back, and hoping, thinking that since it's metal, that it's just gonna just fall right down. But then he lost so much magnesium that it didn't do what he needed to do. Carry 3 of these. Carry 3 of these. You can keep 1 on your belt loop. You keep 1 on the side of your bag. You always got extra. So if you lose things, you got extra. You always got extra. And you can never go wrong having 1,000,001 of these things. You can never ever go wrong. So now I'm doing a reversal. He said he didn't see all the stuff come out this bag. Now, this is called a pocket. This is called a pocket stove. I'm sitting there watching my cat, so you gotta excuse me. He's inspecting my gear right now. And it'll fit right in your pocket. I remember when they came out with these, usually your collapsible stoves was actually about a little bit bigger than this iPad. A little bit bigger. So it opens up. You have fuel tabs. This is for like emergency situations where you got a bug out, or they call a bug out bag. You'll set your fuel tab, 1 fuel tab in here, burn it, set this on top, and you burn it, and you've got a stove. But did you also know you can make this into a heater? Now, I can't find that metal plate. I've got a metal plate where, I've actually got a metal plate that you use for to cover up electrical outlets that you're not going to use, and set that right on top, and it'll heat that metal plate up to where it'll heat the metal plate up on top, and basically it becomes a heater. And in really, really bad situations, you can burn this in your car. Just find you something that'll hold the ash up underneath, crack your windows a certain way so smoke goes out. You got to make sure you got good ventilation, and it'll actually heat you up real good. But in emergency situations, to where it's strictly survival, this little thing right here. Now, this life tent is made of the same materials that's found in these thermal blankets. Now, people understand when they say they're coming up with something new. Somebody may have come up with a design, but the materials that they used were used for something else. So you're gonna have to do your research on that, but I'm just saying they didn't come up with it. So this life tent is basically one basic long tube. And then, as I stated before, you're gonna need this in order to let this turn around and do what it's gonna do. Or you can turn around what it's going to do, this life tent, because you're gonna have to tie at least 20 feet between two trees in order to make this life tent stand up so you can have a survival shelter, emergency survival shelter, which in turn, if it's freezing rain, you're wet, this, that, and everything else, guess what, people? You're still gonna freeze. Hypothermia is gonna get the best of you. So you can keep trying to take these strands. If you remember the old Uniroyal commercial, 7 strands wrapped around let's see, yeah, 7 strands wrapped around one in order to make a steel belted radio. And you keep tearing this down, and you're going to need this to survive. If you want to make snares, this, that, all this crazy crap, all these things out there, leave this intact. I mean, this would be a last option. I mean, there's nothing left. You got nothing left, and you still haven't made it quite out of the danger zone of being locked up in the woods somewhere. So that's why I carry 3 types of rope. Now, I haven't broken everything down, but I wanted to show you. This is called a thermal blanket. This is called a thermal blanket. It's the same thing. And you see all the uses. You see all the uses that this thing offers. Snow shield, tent, fish air. For me, I see things backwards. Gear cover, you know, shield, and then loft hauler. Now this is what these guys are designing. These about the same thing. But you see how thick the material is, and it is reflective. And it is reflective. Basically. Now, also in this, you're going to see the ring outlets, which I already know. And I got to fold this back up. So you can make tarp, tent, whatever you need, blanket. Sorry, Bandit. I'll fold this up in a little bit. Trying to be careful because my cat likes to scratch on that. Carry 2 of these. This is the second one out of his bag. The crazy critter. And this is a little kit. And this is a little kit. And the stuff that comes out this kit, you got a tack light. But if you haven't used this equipment as an emergency equipment, don't leave a battery in it because it doesn't have an oil washer in there and it doesn't seat properly. It's bright, it's still bright, and it even has an emergency flashlight, that means strobe light, so you can signal better with it. But don't leave a battery in this until you're gonna use it. Another flint striker, but this is no good until you scrape off all the protective coating on it, all this other crazy stuff. And it's a little ruler. I added this to the kit. Like I said, you can never have enough of these. You can never have enough. And most of the stuff I actually hooked the rope up, this, that, and everything else actually came out of this. The little small ones. Next, you want to write your memoirs, how you're going to die out in the woods, and this is how I was found, and this is what was going on. Knock yourself out. But it's supposed to be a tactical pen, so I don't know who the hell you're going to attack. Or you can sit and write your coordinates of what direction you've actually gone, this, that, and everything else. You can actually leave notes saying, I've gone in this direction, at this coordinates, this degree. This is the marker I'm looking at up here. This is where I went. Help find you. This knife. It's not sharp, glass shatterer, basically seatbelt cutter, but it's not sharp. So you will have to sharpen this knife. You will have to sharpen it. Oh, it's got a little bit of grease there. And it actually oiled it up pretty good. You can't cut, you couldn't even cut yourself with this knife. That's how dull it is. Wire saw. Again, people, don't think some idiot out here basically did this because NASA invented these wire saws up there for the space labs and everything else. So when they had to cut tubing or, you know, aluminum tubes, this, that, and the other size, they needed something small enough that didn't kick up a lot of dust. So guess what? That's where these wire saws come from. NASA invented this. Let's show you how old school I am. Just showing you how old I am. I'm 53 years old. Now, this is what I was talking about as compared to this. You got this one, and you've got this one. This one here is too flimsy. You try using this in most survival situations out here, and this little thing will bend, break, and probably cut yourself because you got the edge here. This you can keep sharp, you can actually sharpen, and you can use it to cut. Like I said, it has a compass. You got different wrenches in here. You've got, on this side, you can probably see the can opener where the blade's right there, screwdriver, little wrenches. It's like I said, it's just a little wallet tool that you use. But then they stuck this in here as well. But this version, you can see, is a lot thicker as opposed to this one. It's a lot thicker. This will bend and break. So I would replace this with this. They've got more out there that's a little bit thicker, a little bit bigger if you want, and do that. So you don't dull the edge, and you cut yourself. You basically place that in there like that. And I got my own little heckling center here. I got a nut out here he's determined he's gonna whoop my butt at everything. Now you've got this as well. These are not tying kits. Now on here, if you can see, you see the way these knots are being tied and the actual deal that he's using. This is actually for, you can actually use to make snares. So you can take that expensive that's got the copper wire, the nylon strand, fishing wire, nylon strand, and all that nylon strands, and then other nylon lines staying there wrapped around it that makes that paracord so strong that could do 600-700 pounds. Oh no, see, that's called fishing wire. It is not fishing wire. It's a nylon strand. It's a hardened nylon strand you could probably use for fishing. Or like I said, once you do that, you know, you got to keep track of all that stuff. You lose it, this, that, and everything else, well, you're going to wind up cutting up more and more and more and more of this paracord. And it wasn't designed for that. Under extreme emergency situations, the only time you have to do it. Everything I'm pulling out right now, basically for emergency situations, will save your life. Now, there's a guy at Walmart, he's got his little deal going, and it's not too bad. You know, they had a bug out bag, and I was like, eh. But this idiot, I got an idiot out here who's determined to make me do everything off Google, or he wants me to YouTube everything. And I'm like, no, people, learn to use the old school stuff. That's why this stuff is here. That's the reason why these things are here. Like I said, these have been around for years, 4 years. They've been around since I was a little kid, ever since I was a Boy Scout. I'm 53 years old. So, you know, most Boy Scouts are between 8 and 9 years old. This stuff's been here a long time. So all of this. Then, like I said, where's my compass? You got a better compass. It's always good to keep two, a lensatic and a cheap one. You lose one, you've got another. This has a, I can't pronounce it right, CLINO meter, kilometer, or, and basically you turn elevation. Now the reason why you can do this with that plastic compass that I have, and you can actually learn elevation. So I put a question out there for everybody. If I give you a map and a compass, put you in the deepest valley you can find without telling you where you are, can you find your way out? Some idiot running around here because he can hear every damn word I'm saying. Come out, oh, them scraggly lines. Then he match on them scraggly lines. People, it's always different. Elevation markers are going to be different on different types of map. They're not going to be the same unless it's a standard map for that area. Unless it's a standard map. But this is a pretty good lensatic compass. Even comes with a conversion chart on the back, which takes a lot of practice to understand because all this stuff requires a lot of math. Now I've got two prior to, and what it says is Real survival versus this unrealistic crap. Or like I said, you can learn to use this and just basically go take a course. Or weed through all that fake crap on YouTube and the internet and see if you can find the actual way to do it. My advice is go out and take a lesson. You want to go out in the woods and survive? Find someone to teach you. Like I said, you had a forest ranger claiming he was a forest ranger, and it's on here. He's a forest ranger, and he's telling people how to use a compass and a map. He'll get you lost. You'll take 2 steps outside your door, and you'll never find your house again. That's how bad he is. Aquatabs. Now you see, this idiot will spray stuff in my apartment, yell in here, try to make me watch some crap on TV. There's lots of old ways that you can strain. They say you got the guy from Walmart doing the corporal something, and he's talking about, oh, you boil your water and you turn around and well, see, one, you got to carry all that equipment, which means you got to have something to burn. And if you don't have that, and you're talking about emergency situations, you can take a piece of cloth and throw a couple of these tabs in, shake it up real well, loosen the top a little bit, shake it up so once it does its thing, shake, and it kills all the bacteria around the edges, turn around and you got water. All you got to do is strain the larger particles out. It'll kill all the other protozoa. That's what they make these. This goes back to like end of World War I and World War II. They came up with what's called iodine tablets. You look up, go to any of the old surplus stores, you see these little green little kits in there. They had iodine tablets. You take 2, pop it in your water, sit there, you wait 10, 15 minutes, and then shake the top on the top of your canteen real good so it'll kill the bacteria around the lid, this, that, and the other from all the bad water you put in there. Now, one thing you need to understand: standing stagnant water that has been standing for a long time, even though it looks clear, you're gonna have to boil it. And when you do get done boiling it, drop these. Standing stagnant water, period. Because to cure all that other protozoa and all that other crazy ass, you're not gonna like the taste of adding too many of these to it. This is strictly emergency situations. Or you can keep running around there and you can keep following these idiots and their fake crap and their fake survival stuff that's gonna get you killed, people. Period. A good flashlight. Waterproof, this, that, and the other. And like I said, bright. But when you're shifting around, you can have all this. You can go super tech if you want, but it's called night blindness. The only light you have at night is moonlight, or you got the light of a nearby town. That's your only light. That's all you got. So if you run around with this bright light all the time, and you turn it off, to turn around and do what you got to do, this, that, and the other, you're gonna go through what's called night blindness. So this one is designed with a red, just like the old military lights. They come with lenses, so you don't go blind. So you can still read, and all of a sudden you hear something out there, you don't want them to see you, you still got your eyesight. Blue, be careful, it's brighter spectrum, will still give you night blindness. Green won't. Turns itself off. That's it. All of this stuff in a little go bag. You want good survival? You're gonna have to piece together a good bag. You're gonna have to piece it together. Because if you don't, you can go out and buy these prepared bags for you. They're gonna charge you an arm and a leg for cheap stuff like this. Real cheap. Super cheap. And they're probably 20 bucks for this buck. You have to piece together this bag due to your needs, due to your health, your diet. You have to piece together these bags. This little bag that I have, basically, it's something that'll sit in your car. The only thing you can't put in there is this medical bag. Medical bags go bad under extreme heat in your car. So you have to find a cool spot in your car, like in your trunk or something like that. Something where this thing can stay cool and the heat can't destroy it. Heat will basically dehydrate your antiseptic wipes, dry out your ointments and your sting ointments and everything else. And even your Band-Aids won't even stick, so it won't work. It will not work. It really won't work. So, being a Boy Scout, being a what they call explorer, where we get trained by the United States military as a kid, which is one step above an Eagle Scout. So I went from Boy Scout and basically didn't go through because state conservation ran out of money when we were kids. Most states paid for most of our training as Boy Scouts, and then money we raised to go to camp and everything else. Then I went to something called the Explorers Club, where the United States Army Reserve started teaching us stuff. So you can trust these idiots out here watching TV, because all they'll do is watch somebody else's channel, then go out here. They've got the money set up to where they can do the spectacular crap, all this spectacular stuff, and then turn around and watch you idiots run around, watch you good people run around like idiots, and they're laughing at you in the background. See, what you forget is that show Jackass. Since that show started, you guys have been doing the same stuff over and over for years. And you just don't get it. Everybody wants 15 minutes of fame. I don't want the fame. I've even had television shows stolen from me that you made billions of dollars, and I can prove it to you. I prove it to you to this day. And that's no BS. But first aid kits, if I broke all this stuff down out of the boxes, this, that, and the other, all of this will fit. Move, cat. That's my little buddy. That's my little buddy. All of this will fit inside here, including that big ass thermal blanket. If I broke all the packaging down, this, that, and the other. So if I need to bug out on an emergency situation, emergency survival situation, this little bag will save my life. I can make it, find food, fish, do what I need to do. And if I want to, I can put it in a bigger bag, and at the same time, which I do have a bigger bag, and then turn around and add more stuff, all this other crazy stuff. Now you've got rubber mats out there. This, if you don't have a rubber mat, this blanket will do the same thing. It'll keep you from having to lay down on a cold surface to death. Hypothermia. Like I said, being a junior lifeguard at age 10, we spent a lot of time in our pools every year. Every year you're in a pool. So in the summertime, you're always in a cool environment. You go straight from winter to spring to summer. Spring is still cool. Temperatures between 60 and between 50 and 60 or 70 degrees. So by the time summer hits, you get up there in 80, 90 degrees, this, that, and the other, but you're always in a pool. So you stay cool all year round. So you're always in a hypothermic state. But, you know, I got an idiot out here who wants to challenge me, and he wants me to go with these TV smooth, the Guardians, this, that, and the other. But like I said, I'm a trained lifeguard. There is a record of it. The military even has a copy of all that stuff, because you have to list all associations, blah, 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 blah. It's all there. So you can break all this down and fit into a little bag, but you don't want to keep this in this emergency bag, because for one reason, if that happens, it will break all this stuff down, and it does you no good. And last but not least, you've got an idiot up here who's trying to teach you how to suture. I'm trying to keep the curse words out. He wanted me to clean it up. Learning how to suture. Now, this is a project not for survival. This is a project I just want to learn, because I started learning this when I was about 16, 17 years old, and I was in Job Corps. The nurses there who was teaching us CNA also taught us about this. It's not something you will do. You have to be, schooled or, registered to do this. But when a guy's taking a Halloween mask and he's basically out here teaching you, calls himself a doctor, real doctor, and that stupid crap, and he's telling you how to suture, and he's doing it wrong, because there are real doctors out there with real lessons, and you have to look up most universities to do it. But be careful, because somebody's always got a camera. Don't believe all that, because if you don't know what type of wound to suture, you're trying to pull a John Rambo, infection's going to set in, a whole bunch of crazy stuff, and you're going to wind up dying anyway. And if you don't have any antibiotics to fight this, fight that, you're dead. People, wake up, go out, and learn this stuff. Don't rely on this technology to teach you. It's an aid. It's just a tool. It's nothing more. You're going to have to go out and learn it, whether you want to or not. And that's why I say these idiots. Like I said, look up Pack Leader 4. Look up harassment and this stuff is not stopping. You're talking damn near fucking 22 years later. It still hasn't stopped.